La Casa Norte's mission is focused on serving youth and families experiencing homelessness or those folks that are at risk for homelessness. And what we really hope to do is to move people along a continuum of care towards increased housing stability. And we do that in two different ways. We provide housing and we provide intensive support services.
And so to get the capacity to start looking at what our clients needed, we applied for a Hunger Fellow through the Congressional Hunger Center. And we were lucky enough to be chosen. It was a very competitive process. We were chosen out of lots of different applicants.
Through the fellowship opportunity, I had the privilege of coming to Chicago and work for LaCasa Norte. The main reason that I was brought here was to work on a research to get a better understanding of the LaCasa Norte's clients' food needs.
One of the examples of our housing programs is the Solid Ground Supportive Housing Program. And what we do there is house young people who are male identified, age 16 to 21. And they can stay and live in the facility for up to 2 years or through their 21st birthday while they're focusing on those elements and activities that will move them towards independent living and future economic self-sufficiency.
There's just a lot of trust that needs to be established with the guys as they come into the house and as they reestablish a true sense of themselves.
So one of the projects within the research at LaCasa Norte was looking at Solid Ground and the residents there and really getting a better understanding of their current eating habits and nutritional intake, and also to gauge the current programming around food, get a better understanding of that, and also to see what kind of information we can gather and what kind of programming around food we can do in the future.
The other part of nourishment is that whole sense of just physically nourishing them, giving them a safe place to sleep, a safe place to be, and predictable place to get their food, a predictable place to prepare their food.
Here at Solid Ground we have 16 very unique personalities and 16 unique relationships with foods.
Every youth comes in with really a different experience of food. And what that looks like for them is very different. So what we're really trying to do is increase knowledge and increase the skills of really being able to cook differently, as well as having access to different types of foods.
It can be a challenge to find a happy medium when it comes to both respecting and understanding kind of each individual's relationship to food, but also finding a way to kind of bring the house together and create a communal approach to preparing meals when we can.
The youth, they tend to spend a lot of time in the dining room area. Basically, it brings like the family atmosphere together. You know, if there's something cooking, they smell it in the air. They want to come down, they want to join, you know, the rest of the guys, and they want to eat. You know, everybody wants to eat.
We pick up the majority of our food from the Greater Chicago Food Depository, which is our partner on the south side of Chicago. We pick up about 1,000 pounds each time that we pick up food from them, which is twice a month.
Well, we usually keep a lot of bread and fruits and snacks around for them to snack on during the day.
I personally seen staff at Solid Ground put fresh fruits and vegetables on the table, and also seen youth come by the table and pick up food just because it's sitting there.
I don't know why I'm eating the apple, because it was right there on the table. I just picked it up, easy.
There was some really interesting findings in the research that Hiram helped us conduct. And I think what it does is it reflects a lot of the complex reality that the youth is living in. Because in many ways, they're already in an oasis of food activity in what is deemed a food desert.
It's hard to get tasty tomatoes. You know, you always get these bland, watery tomatoes you don't want to eat.
Well, I don't never eat vegetables, but fruits I'll eat all the time.
I eat fruits and vegetables when available, anytime possible. I do love eating my apples. I do love eating my oranges. I do love eating my bananas. So, and my watermelon, definitely my watermelon. I love watermelons.
I really don't usually have the feeling for eating vegetables like that. If I do, it'd be like maybe I just want to eat something just to say I had something healthy to eat today.
I think any type of food programming in a program like Solid Ground needs to be focused on two things. It needs to be focused on nutrition, and it needs to be focused on the economics of that process.
There are a few nutritional options, like apples or oranges at times, but the nutritional options never really do last long. Like, they're quickly eaten.
Solid Ground staff do a great job connecting the youth to different services such as food stamps, also known in the state of Illinois as LINK or EBT card, And we see that the majority of the youth currently receive an average of $200 in benefits. However, only a few use it to purchase healthy items.
There's not as much access to fresh produce, and there's not a lot of emphasis on healthy eating and nutrition outside of the solid ground.
The garden project has been a wonderful way for youth to connect to food that maybe in the past they hadn't connected with.
I think the youth learned a lot about the, vegetable and a lot with the gardening and had more respect for the food, like seeing the time it took to grow it and not just like waste it and not just like take a bite and throw it away if they don't like it, or, they seen it come out the ground and they were a part of it and they were proud of it.
Nutrition is expensive, first of all. I mean, if you go to like Whole Foods and Jewel, I shop at like Save a Lot.
Another part of my experience was taking the youth to the YMCA and having them do some exercises with me, and also teaching them about some of the foods they can eat as a supplement to keep their bodies running.
They live in a complex reality in terms of what their food situation is, and when they come into solid ground, it's like an oasis of food activity in what is deemed a food desert on the outside, because there's not a lot of access to fresh produce, there's not a lot of talk about nutrition, there's a lot of fast food.
In the last month, I've ate fast food every day, almost every day.
I ate fast food a lot because, it tastes good most of the time and it's easy to get.
In the last past month, I ate fast food like 50% of the time.
It's all about what's easy to get. I have a job, and it's like, why go out and cook my own food when I could go to the restaurant where they just give it to you in 5 minutes?
In the solid ground food assessment, one of the questions that we asked was, how did the youth like their food to be prepared? And the majority of them responded that they don't like other people preparing their foods. However, in another question, they responded that they're willing to participate in dinner cooked programs.
What I ate yesterday for supper was some spaghetti and ravioli from a staff member cooked for us.
For dinner last night, I had 2 Polishes.
Supper last night, I had Subway.
What I had for supper last night was a box of chicken wings.
This morning for breakfast, I had the usual bowl of cereal with Honey Nut Comb Cheerios.
I'm always busy and I don't have time to make myself breakfast or have something to do early in the morning, so I had to get out and leave. And whatever I could catch on the street is better enough to eat something than nothing.
This is very important for this specific population because they're still in the development stage of their life and they're learning a bunch of life skills and learning about how to treat their body and exercise and learning kind of supplements to take. It can be very useful in the long run.
What foods will improve my diet definitely would be fish.
The thing that can help improve my diet is stop eating fast food and eat more fruits and vegetables.
This is a very different situation too for the residents because they've been out on their own for many years, and a lot of what they're learning is just through programming and outside agencies and not necessarily through their families.
Solid Ground can help me by just, probably just making a cookbook.
Definitely information on nutrition facts and what these nutritions do for you, such as what does zinc does for you, what does protein do for you, what does iron do for you.
Also, we need to try to make some type of mission of trying to get food in here every week. Because, every 2 weeks, it don't work like that because, we have 16 residents who usually have different meal times because some people work, some people at school, some people have different appetites. So you have to sit there. Some people can eat more, some people who eat less,
It's been a great experience working on this research with the food security team because it's really got me looking at a population group that's not really studied in the United States, and so learning about their eating habits and nutritional intake has been great, and also getting to know some of them at the personal level.
One of the important things to note in engaging youth in nutrition and food activities is that whether it's informally in conversation or formally in the structured service plan, that we offer them enough options so that they have the freedom to choose to eat healthily and nutritiously, that they have access to the knowledge of what it is to eat a nutritious meal and to prepare a nutritious meal. Because we see that from the findings that they want that. They want the knowledge, they want the nutrition, they want other foods and access to different types of foods, whether it's fish or more fruit or vegetables or whatnot. And it's really ultimately their decision. So they're empowered to make those choices to eat more nutritionally or not. We don't want to force that on them. We don't want to preach that they have to do that. But creating an environment where that's a possibility, where the outside environment in the food desert, it is not a possibility, is really what's opening up a whole new world for these young men to really get stable in terms of nutrition, understand what that looks like, and get more empowered to make those decisions if they so choose.
I feel like the information we've collected as a team is going to be very useful for future programming, and I'm happy to leave LaCasa Norte with a feeling of accomplishment.